This is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you, and we're here in Sedona, Arizona at the Raw Living Expo. And this is going to be one fabulous video for you guys. I am a presenter here today, and what we're going to do in this episode is actually go around to other presenters and educators that are in attendance here and ask them the one thing for superb or superior health. In this way, you're going to learn some of the best information that's going to be able to help you change your life. So next, what we're going to do is let's start interviewing some of these presenters. And now we're here with Ronnie Landis. Ronnie, how long have you been into raw foods now?
I've been into raw foods now about 4.5 years.
4.5 years, all right, great. Now, if somebody wants to contact you or learn more about your work, do you have a website that you can share with my viewers, though?
Yeah, you can go to RonnieLandis.com. Also, Facebook right now is a really good way to contact me.
All right, great. And the one question I have for you today, Ronnie, is what's the #1 tip to superior health?
That's a really good question. Over the years, it's kind of evolved. My personal opinion for health all around is if someone can grab onto what their purpose is in life and use nutrition, use raw food, all the stuff that we're learning about to fuel their purpose and really get in alignment with that and why they're here on this planet, and to just be as in alignment with that as possible, to me, I feel like that promotes superior health, and that promotes all the different avenues to amplify that health possible. So definitely getting in alignment with their core purpose.
Wow, that's really powerful, man. I would definitely agree. I think, doing what you love, because if you're not doing what you love, you're maybe not happy. If you're not happy, then you're definitely not going to have superior health. So now we're with Megan Elizabeth. And Megan, how long have you been into raw foods now?
About 4.5 years.
All right, great, Megan. And how can somebody learn more about you and your work? You have a website.
I do. It's meganelizabeth.com, or you can go to my YouTube channel, Easy to Be Raw.
All right, great. It's easy to be raw, don't forget. And so, Megan, what's the one tip you want to share with my viewers for superior health?
I would say probably reducing stress. So, like, whatever that is for you, some people, they need to look at what they're eating. Some people are already eating properly. They need to look at their sleep habits. I would say just kind of go through your life and systematically start to reduce your stress, because I think stress from any area, whether it's work, sleep, food, drugs, anything, that's what really tears down our bodies and makes us age faster.
Wow, I totally agree with Megan. Stress is one of the easiest and cheapest things you can change today. Now we're with Steve Factor. And Steve, how long have you been into raw foods?
About 6 years now, 3 years, about 99% raw. All right, great. And do you have a website, or if people want to get a hold of you, how can they contact you or learn more about your work? www.pureenergyfactor.com.
Okay, great. And the last question I'm going to have for you today, Steve, is what's your #1 tip for superior health?
For people to increase the fruits and the vegetables in their life. Foods that have high vibration. The more high vibration, and just increase. You don't have to go raw overnight unless you want to, but we can just increase. And I'd like to tell people, don't take anything away from their diet. Just add the good stuff, and the other stuff goes away in its own time without any deprivation by anyone. And that's a whole nother way of looking at it, except instead of like, oh, I want. Just add. You'll see. It's really good.
Wow, that was a great tip. I totally would agree with Steve there. Now we're with Dave Conrardy, known as the Raw Food Trucker, and we're going to ask him a few questions today. Dave, how long have you been into raw foods now?
6.5 years.
Wow, 6.5 years, all right. And if somebody wants to learn more about you and your work, do you have a website you'd like to share with my viewers today?
You bet. You can get a hold of me at Dave Conrardy, CONRARDY.com. Also, you can get a hold of me on Facebook at Dave Conrardy, or Dave the Raw Food Trucker on Facebook also.
All right, great, Dave. So the question I have for you today is, what's the one tip you want to share with my viewers to have the most superb health ever?
Okay, this is what I'm on tour, going to 120 cities around the United States of America. On tour right now, crossing paths with you again. I first met you in Portland, and here it is. And I'm summing it up in 3 words. The most healing diet to the human species on this planet consists of 3 elements: raw, organic, and vegan. If you truly want to reverse disease, if you want to heal, and if you want to get healthier, those 3 elements I have reversed 9 diseases. I was paralyzed, had a heart attack, had cancer, diabetes, kidney starting to fail, acid reflux, arthritis. I have none of that. 0. I'm sorry I parked my wheelchair over there in the corner because I was told I'd never walk again. 8. Raw organic vegan, the most healing diet on the planet to the human species, in my opinion. And that's the opinion of a 9th grader. I had to go and figure it out and live through all this to figure this out. So when I say it is, I say it as an opinion. Yeah, I really believe that.
Wow, thank you, Dave. That was so simple. Remember those 3 words? Raw, organic, vegan. And now we're here with Markus Rothkranz. And Markus, how long have you been into raw foods now?
It's been a journey. It was about 7 years ago.
So about 7 years all raw. And then I know you have a lot of good informative videos out there, but if somebody wants to get learn more about you and your work, how can they do that? Do you have a website online that you would recommend them to?
HealAnything.com.
All right, HealAnything.com. And the final question I have for you today, Markus, is what is the #1 tip that you would want to share with my viewers for superb or superior health?
Surrender, let go, and the truth will come to you.
And that's how simple it is.
It's that simple.
Now we're with Dan McDonald. We're just going to ask him a few questions. So Dan, how long have you been into raw foods now?
13 years.
Wow.
October 2000.
Wow, definitely a long time. So Dan, how can somebody learn more about your important work they're doing? Do you have a website that people can find out more about you?
Well, I'd like to send everyone over to the YouTube because that is 1,300 free videos. And then if you like that, you can always go to my website, regenerateyourlife.org, and get the more specific instructional videos, DVDs, which have the recipes and more in-depth instruction that you can watch over and over again to really plant those seeds in your mind.
Wow, Dan is a wealth of knowledge. He has so many videos online. Actually, I think I have a few more than him, though. And just about 5 or 10.
Where's my camera?
But anyways, but what I want to ask Dan today is his #1 tip for superior health. It's that simple.
Really what it is moderation in eating. Really moderation, like just if you eat too much, no matter even if it's the best food and you're not digesting it cleanly, absorbing it, utilizing it, and eliminating it cleanly, you're just going to be backed up. It's going to leave metabolic residues. The blood and the nerve and the lymph flow is going to be inhibited, and you won't be able to experience that real divine flow that comes when you're walking right down the razor's edge of consuming, just making sure you're getting enough but not too much. And that really takes a lot of self-responsibility and looking inward and really being present with your meals and really observing yourself when you eat and exercise and making sure you're getting plenty of sleep. So it's really the same thing I've always said, is that just it's awareness. Just you really have to take responsibility and take the energy required to just be present in your life as you live.
Wow, wow, that's very powerful. You know, you want to eat enough, not too much, but not too little, and you kind of need to tune into yourself to find out what that is for you, because everybody's different, and I don't just think everybody could eat 3,500 calories a day, no matter what. Now we're here with Ronnie and Minh, and Ronnie and Minh are also presenters here at this event. And Ronnie and Minh, how long have you guys been doing raw foods?
I've been doing raw foods, totally raw, for 14 years. And Minh has been 95% raw her entire life, which is 63 years.
Wow, great. So if somebody wants to learn more about you guys and your work, do you guys have a website that, my viewers can go to?
Sure. It's ubraw.com, and that's the letter U, the letter B, RAW.com.
All right, great. Well, I do need to add that Minh makes some amazing food, and some of the recipes they have are absolutely delish. In any case, we're going to get to the meat of it. And the one question I have for you guys today, Ronnie, Minh, are what is the #1 tip you guys have for superb health?
I would say my #1 tip would be avoid anything that's in a package, a bottle, of course in a can, if at all possible. Just stick with those foods that are fresh and whole.
Wow, I would definitely agree with that. That's just a very simple concept to comprehend, but unfortunately many of you guys out there are still eating things in packages, bottles, and jars. I encourage you guys to eat the foods out of nature. Now we're with Karen Ranzi, and Karen, how long have you been into raw foods now?
Well, I've been 100% raw for 19 years.
Wow, 19 years, that's definitely a long time. So Karen, how can somebody get a hold of you to learn more about your work and what you do?
Well, my website is superhealthychildren.com. My YouTube channel is superhealthychildren.com. And my email is Karen, Karen, at superhealthychildren.com. And my Facebook fan page is Creating Healthy Children, which is the title of my book, my first book.
All right, great, Karen. So the one question I have for you today is what number one tip do you have for my viewers to create superb health?
I have loads of tips, but when I thought about the first one, I would say really focus on yourself, on increasing your own health through raw and living food, vegan nutrition, and taking care of it for yourself and not pushing it on others. When I first went raw almost 2 decades ago, I would see people in the supermarket and tell them that they had to get rid of the white bread, that they were going to get sick, that they were going to be in bad shape with their whole family. And I got a lot of people on the defensive. And so I feel that in order to give people other tips, that the first thing I really need to tell them is you're going to get excited about this as your own health improves through raw vegan nutrition. But just set that example. And that example is so powerful. There were times when, and my kids were 100% raw after my son healed from asthma, and they were raw for 9 years. But then they wanted to go and eat other foods because they perceived the need to be part of a peer group. And I threatened, I bribed, I did everything possible to keep them with raw foods. And it didn't work, it got them more defensive. So I feel now that what parents can do best for their children, and what all people can do best for themselves, is if you believe in this lifestyle and you see these immense changes for yourself, go out into that world and set your example. It has a rippling effect.
I definitely would agree with Karen there. You know, I mean, when I got into raw foods also, I really tried to share, hey man, you need to not eat that dead turkey on the table for Thanksgiving. And most of my relatives probably still hate me today for that. And I know you're going to be excited, but keep it to yourself and just be the example and live by the example, because also people could definitely get you down. Now we're here with Ken Rolla. And Ken, how long have you been into raw foods now?
I first started in 1993, so it's about 20 years now.
Wow, all right, great. 20 years is definitely a long time. So Ken, if somebody wants to learn more about you and your work, what is your website so my viewers can check you out?
My main website is freshandalive.com. My blog is beyondrawfood.com, and I'm on Facebook.
All right, great. So the one question I have for you, Ken, today is, what is the one tip you want to share with my viewers for superior health?
I would say eat lots of chlorophyll. I eat a lot of greens, and when you've been doing raw food a long time, and live food, I differentiate live food because I eat a lot of sprouts and a lot of greens. If you look to the people who are older and have been eating this way for a long time, and you'll see a lot of commonalities in their diet, and it's not gourmet raw food. It's greens and sprouts and, you know, good food combinations and those kinds of things.
Wow, I would totally, absolutely agree. You hear on my show a lot, I always talk about eating the highest nutrient density foods, and those are the leafy greens by far. And now we're here with Loren Lockman. And Loren, how long have you been into raw foods now?
Well, I'm really just getting started with this. I'm trying it out. We're going to see if it works. It's only been 21 years so far.
All right, great, Loren. And how can somebody get a hold of you if they want to learn more about your work and what you're doing?
They can contact me through the Tanglewood Wellness Center's website, www.tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com, or email me, Loren@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com.
All right, great, Loren. So the question I have for you today is, what is your number one tip for superior health?
Number one tip for superior health? That's a tough question. There's so many things. You know, I think an overall general idea is that to remember the body is self-healing. So the best we can do is learn how to get out of the body's way and let it do what it needs to do on its own.
All right, and what would be one tip to do that? Do just that.
Okay, well, obviously what we do, water fasting is the best way to get out of the way. But for instance, rather than using supplements, if you're not getting what you need, then you might want to give your body a chance to start assimilating properly by eating the right whole food instead.
All right, great. So now I have a very special treat for you. We're here with Nomi Shannon, known as the Raw Gourmet. And Nomi is 70 this year. She's been doing raw foods for a long time. So Nomi, how long have you been into raw foods?
25 years.
Wow, 25 years, definitely a long time. So Nomi, how can somebody learn more about your work and about you? Do you have a website?
Sure, I have a couple. My general website is yourgourmet.com. We've got recipes there, and I review different equipment, that kind of thing, and some of my books are there. And then you could go for my 2-month course, John. That's rawfoodfortherealworld.com. And there's also a book that I wrote last year with 47 contributors. Everybody wrote down everything they ate for 7 days. There were raw or high raw people, very famous people, some of them. And that's whatdorawfoodiseat.com.
All right, great, Nomi. Thank you for that. So the one question I have for you today is, what is your one tip for superior health? I mean, you're 70 this year. You look fabulous. What can you share with my viewers so that they can look as young as you when they're that old?
Don't stop. Don't let the everyday stumbling, not knowing how to do something, or feeling a sense of failure because you ate something bad one day. The important thing is what you do most of the time, not what you do some of the time. If you learn how to make your food very quickly and effortlessly, then and stick with it as much as you can. And the biggest thing I can say, John, is forgiveness, because that's what stops people from being raw. They start, they stop, they start, they stop. And what they've done is whatever, eaten something they shouldn't have, like McDonald's. So what? Next day, wake up, start all over again. Don't bang yourself up. Just forgive yourself and move on. 25 years, I'm 70, I started when I'm 44. I'm jealous of this guy who I've known since 1997, because he started when he was just a young man. Let's see how he looks when he's 100.
All right, thank you for that, Nomi. I mean, once again, definitely agree. Be consistent. And if you mess up, that's all right. Tomorrow's a new day. You can start anew. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Jamie Sheridan. So I got a few questions for you today, Jamie. So Jamie, how long have you been into a raw plant-based diet?
Plant-based diet, approximately 28 years. Raw food diet, approximately 26.
Great, Jamie. So I guess the next question is, how can somebody learn more about you and your work?
Best way to learn about me and my work is go to my company's website, healthforce.com, which will have links on both the nutritional superfoods and the cleansing and detox and healing programs I have, the nutritional support programs I have, and also will then have links to white papers on a lot of those superfoods, and also will then provide links to the upcoming book and other things I'm doing.
Wow, Jameth is surely a wealth of information. Be sure to stay tuned to my channel for some really excellent videos that I made with Jameth. So Jameth, the one question I have for you today is, what is the #1 tip you want to share with my viewers for superior health?
God, there's so many tips.
Top one tip.
Be a whole food vegan.
Be a whole food vegan.
If I just had to just pick one out of the hat, whole food vegan. Whole food organic vegan?
All right, Jamie, so thank you for that hint tip. Be a whole food, organic vegan. I would definitely agree with Dr. Sheridan on that one. And now I have a very special guest and a very special treat for you guys, somebody that I admire and I've read his books actually when I went raw, which is a long time ago. We have Dr. Gabriel Cousins, and we're just going to ask him a few simple questions. So Gabriel, how long have you been into raw foods?
I have been in the raw foods 40 years.
Wow, it's far more than anybody else that I've interviewed so far. So Gabriel, if somebody wants to learn more about your important work, how can they get a hold of you? You know, what's your website there?
Sure, it's drcousins.com.
Very simple, very easy to remember. And the final question for you, Dr. Cousins, is very simply, what's the #1 tip that you would want to share with my viewers for superior health?
Love yourself enough to want to heal yourself. One can't really create superior health if you don't really love yourself. And then be very, very persistent, and it will happen naturally to you over time.
Wow, that's very powerful. I mean, I definitely would agree with that. You have to love yourself, because you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone else, and in my opinion, you're not going to heal yourself either. Wow, so what did you guys think of all those different tips? Now, we heard from just so many different people, over a dozen different people with their top tip on the best way to superior or superb health. Now, for my turn. All right, so my name is John Kohler, and I've been into raw foods. This is my 18th year now, and my one tip for superior or superb health is, very simply, have a reason to do it. if you don't have a reason, you may not just do it, you know? Like, oh, I want to be healthy. Yeah, I eat healthy. And many people might say that they eat healthy, but do you really eat healthy? Can you do better? I mean, if you're not doing all the different things that all the speakers and presenters are sharing with you, maybe you got a ways to go. I'm on a continual and never-ending quest to keep on improving what I do in every day, in every way that I can. But just remember the reason why I got into eating a healthier diet and living the way I do now is because I almost lost my life when I was younger. So I constantly have that, you know, like over me, you know, John, you better eat healthy or else you might not be here. So my reason is because I want to stay alive and have the most fun as possible. But more importantly, help other people like you guys out there with videos like this that allow me to share my information, but also, in some cases, get some special guests to share what they've learned over all these years as well. Now, the last thing I want to comment on before I go is that we had a multitude of different presenters that were presenting at the Raw Living Expo, and each one of them have their own life experiences. Some of them have been into raw foods for only 4.5 years, while Gabriel Cousins has been into it for 40 years. So I always want you guys to pay attention to those people who have been doing raw foods for a long time and getting the results you want to get. You know, just because you've been doing it for 40 years doesn't mean you know everything, and just because you're new into it, maybe with 4.5 years underneath your belt, doesn't mean you're a dummy. Everybody has their level of knowledge, and you know, I wish one person could truly know it all, but what I like to do in raw foods is go around to each and every different teacher that teaches about raw foods, because I believe that you can always learn something from just one person. And if you do, then that's definitely a good thing. I like to learn from different people and take that into my knowledge base and then pick and choose what I want to use that makes sense to me. And then I try those things or take those principles into my reality and see if they're working or not. If they're working, then I continue with it. And if they're not working, then guess what? I need to change what I'm doing, change my approach to find something that works. Now, everything that I teach you guys is based on my 18 years of being into this diet and finding the way and weaving my path through and finding out what works and what doesn't. That being said, this is my path, and I always encourage you guys out there to find the best path and take from the different teachers what you can to benefit your life and your health. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRod.com, and remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're the best.